Hello, good evening. Can you hear me po? Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Type C. Type U naman po if unclear on your end. Let me just check the chat box for your feedback. Type UI there. Thank you so much for your feedback. So thank you for spending your Tuesday evening with us. Before I start, let me just introduce our company first. So we are from First Metro Securities. It is the stock brokerage arm of the Metro Bank Group. And our company is dedicated to promote financial literacy and create awareness on investment opportunities to empower individuals and institutions attain their financial goal. And as a matter of fact, I experienced the consistency of First Metro Securities in promoting financial literacy when I and my college friends about 10 years ago joined the stock trading competition organized by the Philippine Stock Exchange, First Metro Group, and the Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines. So this experience marked the beginning of my investing journey. So I've been in the financial industry for a decade already, and currently I'm the Visayas Business Development and Market Education Officer of First Metro Securities. So my licenses allow me to discuss about UITF, mutual funds, bonds, and stocks. Hold on for a second. Okay. So just like this event, we used to conduct our sessions on site and face to face. But due to pandemic, we shifted to a webinar format. So we are still glad that we are regularly invited by private institutions, public institutions, and even academic institutions. And that's on top of our monthly webinars. So it's really amazing how technology enables us to add value wherever you are located. So let me know po, where are you tuning from? So I am from Cebu. Anyone here from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, or even outside the Philippines? I'll be checking the chat box. So we have here from Mindanao, Jensen, about Luzon. Oh, Israel, City of Sun. I don't know where is that. So we have also from Davao, La Union, USA. So magandang umaga, tanghali at gabi po sa inyong lahat. So kahit saang sulok man ng mundo, pwede pa rin kayong makasali sa mga webinars natin. So last year, we have conducted over 600 talks from basic personal finance to investment, market outlook, and even market updates. So to over 50,000 audience. So we want to reach as many Filipinos as possible. So these are the talks that we have conducted for private institutions, academic institutions, and this is for the public institutions on top of our monthly webinars. So you would ask why we do what we do here in First Metro Securities. So reaching out to as many Filipinos as possible. So to share, we actually acknowledge that this is the demographics of stock market investors here in the Philippines. So this is based on the data of PSE. So for a country with over 100 million in population, there are only 1.91 million stock market investors. And most of them at 1.5 have online accounts. And majority are actually locally employed, but we are now gaining traction to self-employed, OFWs, retirees, and even students. And I want also to focus on the lower right side of the screen, wherein you can actually see that majority of the retail investors are actually having income of less than 500,000 annually. So it means that kahit maliit lang yung source of income mo, you can still trade in the stock market. So kindly just pop up the first poll question. Let me just know, are you a stock market investor? You may choose yes, no, or I plan to be a stock market investor. Para lang ma-check ko kung ilang percentage ba ng mga audience natin ngayon are already investing or planning to invest. So I'll give you a few seconds lang. Okay, so kindly show the result. Seems like I cannot see the result of the poll. Again, kindly show the result. Okay, there. Oh, so majority of our attendees right now, no, 69% are already stock market investors. And we still have 6% na wala pa silang perhaps investment account or stock brokerage account. And we have 9 or 25% who actually plan. So whether you are a seasoned investors or planning to invest or a newbie in the investing world, this investment is actually suitable for you. So who among you here joined the Stock Market 101 and the Basic Education on Stock Trading Part 1 last month? Kindly type yes. Anyone? Because this Basic Education on Stock Trading Part 2 is actually a continuation. So it's like a series of basic education about stock trading. No? From Stock Market 101, Best 1, and now we have Best 2 or Basic Education on Stock Trading 2, focusing on dividends and undervalued stock. So thank you so much for those who joined the first two webinar series. So I hope you would also appreciate the Best Part 2. And I know you are already excited or probably excited. So if you have questions or any clarifications during the presentation, feel free to encode it in the Q&A of the Zoom panel because we will answer it after the presentation. Okay, so before we delve into our main topic, let's take a quick look at what's on the agenda for this evening. So first, we are going to talk about how do we earn dividend income from stocks. Second, how do we apply the dividend capture strategy? Third, how do we know if the stock is cheap? And lastly, we have Miss Angelique Bakay from our Equities Research Division, who will discuss how to interpret First Metrosec Stock Screen Research Report. So as we embark on this journey together, my goal is not just to present information, but to create an interactive space. So I encourage you guys to actively learn by participating in the discussion. Kindly prepare your notes, your calculator, and let's make this a collaborative learning experience. So if you guys are ready, please chat ready. If you are ready, kindly chat ready. Okay, thank you so much for that feedback. Let's start with this. Let's start our discussion with this quote from Kevin. So he said, I can't imagine buying a stock that doesn't pay a dividend. Why would you do that? The stock that does not pay a dividend is a speculation, not an investment. So for this, we can infer that one of his major considerations when investing in stocks are their dividends. So some might agree while others might also disagree. But again, investing is personal. So let me know, do you agree or disagree with this quote? Kindly type agree or disagree. Half agree. Okay, so most of the answers, they actually agree. So different types of investors have different investing strategies. So there is no one size fits all strategy. So first, let's answer the question. How to earn dividend income from stocks? So the answer is quite simple. You need to own a stock. Okay. So let's have a review first on how you earn from stock. Again, dividends are the shareholders' share of the company's profit. So when the company has net income, the board of directors they actually decide how much they will reinvest back to the business and how much they will actually give to the shareholders. So some companies have dividend policy, so which indicates the percentage of the net income to be given to the investors. So if paid out regularly by stable companies, dividends can be a good source of income. So when it comes to dividend investing, there are actually 4 important dates to remember. So first one is the declaration date. So this is when the board of directors announces the dividend they are going to give for that period. So usually nakikita mo to sa PSE Edge during the announcement. And then second is the ex-dividend date or expiry dividend date. So this will actually determine if you are eligible to get the dividends. So as the term ex-dividend, this actually suggests that you are not entitled to receive dividends. So if you bought the stocks that on that date, of the X date, however, if you already own the stock but decided to sell on the X dividend date, you are still entitled to receive the dividends. But who bought the stocks from you on the X date will not get the dividends. So this might be confusing right now, but don't worry, I'll show you a concrete example later to see how it progresses. And normally ito yung mga question, especially sa mga newbies in terms of dividend investing, kasi nalilito sila whether they need to buy the stock on the X date or before X date or after X date later. And then third, we have the record date. This is when the company lists all eligible shareholders. So for newbie investor, this is a common source of confusion also, as they think they should own the stock on this date. So as discussed, we know that the reference date to be eligible to receive dividends is the X date. And lastly, we have the payment date. This is when the company disburses the dividend. Or ito yung day na binabayaran nila yung mga stockholder. So please note that it will take a day or two before it will be credited to your respective First Metroset account. Kasi depende. If the stock transfer agent paid via check, so i-clear pa siya. Or paid via bank transfer, tapos need pa din na i-check kung sino na mga stockholders ang entitled for the dividend. So again, we have this declaration date, ex-dividend date, record date, and payment date. So in your First Metrosec account, you can look at the dividend history of the stock. So you can easily navigate to research, click research na tab, and then enter the stock code of the company, and then click div history or the dividend history. So you can actually see there the historical dividend given, whether it's cash or whether it's property dividend, and then the X date, the record date, and the date payable. So if they regularly give dividends, you can check the historical schedule as reference and then estimate when they will probably give the next dividend. So for example, with this, we have March and August, yung months na nagbibigay yung Meralco. So you can actually think no na baka in 2025 then tentative na dates for the X date is on March and August. Yeah, March. So here, after learning the 4 important dates for dividends, the next question is, when should you own the stocks to be entitled of the dividends? Again, our reference will be the ex-dividend date, and we should own the stock by the close of the trading day before the ex-dividend date. So before the ex-dividend date siya. So for better appreciation, we have here a concrete example to show the timeline of the dividend dates. So first, the company declared dividends on July 29. And then the disclosure included the following, such as dividends how much they give per share, the ex-dividend record, and payment date. Second, we have the ex-dividend date. It was on August 27. So for you to be eligible to receive the declared dividends, you should own the stock by the close of the trading day before the ex-dividend date, which is, anong date po? Anong date ba siya? August 27, 26? Yes, thank you for that feedback. Tama po, that is August 26. So when the market opens the next day, you can actually decide whether to hold or sell the stock. Either way, you will still receive the declared dividend for as long as you were able to buy the stock on August 26. So if you sold the stock, whoever bought it will not receive the dividends because they owned the stock during the ex-dividend date. And third, we have the record date. It is usually a couple of days after the ex-dividend date. So in this example, we have August 28. So again, the reference for the eligibility to receive dividend is the ex-dividend date, not the record date. If you are entitled to receive the dividend, you just need to wait for the payment date, which is September 23. So here, I'll ask you questions. Kindly put your answer on the chat box. When should you own Meralco to get the latest dividends? When should you own Meralco to get the latest dividend? Is it August 27, 28, or 23, or 26? Let me just check the chat box. Okay, thank you for that answer. Tama po. The answer is August 26. Again, a day before XD. So parang imagine nyo lang din na expired na yung pagkain. So di ba dapat mong kainin yung pagkain before the expiry date? So dapat kang makabili ng stock before the expiry dividend date or XD. Next. If you sold Meralco on August 27, will you still get the dividends? Yes or no? Okay, tama. So I have a question here sa chat box. No, we'll answer this now. Baka kasi matabunan later. So if you have questions on the succeeding parts of this presentation, please post it in the Q&A. So if before August 26, makakakuha pa rin po. For as long as you are a stockholder until August 26, end of day, yes, you are entitled of the dividend. Next question. If eligible, when should you expect to get the dividend? If eligible, when should you expect to get the dividend? Is it August 27, 28, or September 23? Okay, tama. That is September 23. Follow-up question. Will it be credited to your first MetroSec account immediately? Is it a yes or no? Okay, there. Tama. So the answer is no, and then it will take about 2 to 3 days. Either mag-clearing muna dahil if check yung binayad ng stock transfer agent, and then it will be individually credited to the eligible na mga stockholders. Okay, thank you so much. So I have another poll, pero I just want to know, no, sino ba dito ang may percentage of mga attendees na correct yung answer. So kindly note your answers for 1 to 4 questions if tama ba or hindi. Okay. I have another na company here. We have Jollibee Food Corporation. So when should you own Jollibee Food Corporation to get the latest dividend? Is it November 22, 25, December 10, or November 21? Okay, tama. That is November 21. So please do take note for those naka-answer ng number 1. So you have already one correct answer. And then let's proceed to the second question. You bought JFC shares last November 3 and then sold on November 25. Will you get the dividends? Yes or no? Are you entitled for the dividend? Okay. Most of you got the answer correctly. May isang nag-no. So again, so since stockholder ka pa din noong, November 21, and then you decide to sell it on November 25. So since you are still part of the stockholders on November 21, you are entitled of the dividend. Yes pala. Okay, nag-change yung mind niya. Okay, thank you for that. Third question. If you own 1,000 Jollibee Food Corporation shares, how much dividend will you receive? 1,000 shares, and then the cash dividend is 1.82 pesos per share. How much will be your cash dividend? We already have an answer. Marami na palang pumasok na tamang sagot. So, gross, it's 1,820 pesos and then less the 10% na tax. So, tama. So, you already have 3 correct answers. Next, when will you receive the dividend? When will you receive the dividend? Is it November 21, 22, November 25, or December 10? Noon, marami na palang may sagot. Okay, correct. December 10. Please show the poll. So here, I will ask you, how many correct answers did you get? Did you get all 4 correct answers? 3, 2, 1, or 0? I'll give you a few seconds to answer. Okay. Please show the result of the poll. Great. Majority of you got perfect score. 59% got 4 out of 4. 35% got 3 out of 4. And only 1 got 2 out of 4. So thank you so much. So I guess majority already understood what we have tackled now about the dividend or the important dates of dividend investing. Now let's proceed to the next question. After learning how can you be entitled for the dividend, the next question now is how much will be our dividend yield? Okay, so to calculate the dividend yield, we simply divide the dividend declared by the stock price that you bought, no? The stock price you bought it, and then multiply by 100 to get the percentage yield. So this is still gross because dividend income is subject to 10% na tax. Okay, so for better appreciation, let's have an example here. Let's first look at Jollibee Food Corporation or JFC. So the trailing 12 months dividend per share was 2.97 pesos. 2 pesos and 97 cents. So this means for the last 12 months, Jollibee gave 2.97 pesos to their stockholder. So assuming JFC will still give the same amount of dividends in the next 12 months and you will buy at its stock price of 235 pesos per share, your dividend yield is 1.26%. So that's just simply 2.97 over 235 times 100. Now let's have Meralco or Mir. Trailing 12 months is 21 pesos and 53 cents. So assuming that Meralco will still give the same amount of dividend in the next 12 months, and you will buy the stock priced at 478.20 pesos per share. So how much or what is your dividend yield? What is your dividend yield? Let me just check the chat box. Okay, so we have already correct answers. Tama. The answer is 4.5%. So in your First Metrosec account, you can conveniently see this data by navigating, again, research, and then click company, indicate the code of the company, and you can see here the 12 months dividend and trailing 12 months dividend and also the dividend yield. So you don't need to compute already for the dividend yield. So remember, there's always a trade-off from our Stock Market 101 webinar no, with Tara. We learned that when the company has net income, the board of directors can decide whether it will be reinvested to the company or to the business for its growth or expansion, and how much they're going to give back to the shareholders in the form of dividends. So those companies that are generous with dividend, they tend to grow less quickly. While those less generous, they tend to grow more quickly. May I know if clear po ba or unclear? Type C if clear, type U if unclear. Okay, thank you so much. We'll proceed with the next example. So let's have this hypothetical na stock with a trailing 12 months of 1 pesos and 20 cents. Assuming this hypothetical stock will give you the same amount of dividends in the next 12 months, and you will buy at the stock price of 9 pesos and 10 cents per share. So what is your dividend yield? What is your dividend yield? Okay. My difference na ng 0.01. But yes, the answer is 13.19%. No? You might find this very attractive since this is way beyond or above the average of 1 to 3% na dividend yield. But before jumping into that, it will be prudent to first ask yourself these questions. What are these questions ba? First, why is it higher than the average yield? So what caused the yield to increase? So from the equation, there are two possible scenarios that the dividend actually increase or the dividend yield actually increase. So this is the increase in the numerator, consequently, your dividend yield. Or this might be a good sign because an increase in dividend begs the question, did the company have high earnings or profit? So if you answered both to these questions, do you think this is a good opportunity? Is it a yes or no? Is this a good opportunity to buy the stock because there is an increase in its earnings and profit? That's why it has increased the dividend as well. Okay, yes. Yes, this is a good opportunity. And since we like business who have higher earning and profits. Another scenario that could increase your dividend yield is when the stock price declines. No? When the numerator rather the denominator decreases, your dividend yield increases. So do you like to invest in a stock with a declining price trend? Yes or no? Do you want to invest in a stock with a declining price trend? Yung stock price niya bumababa. Gusto mo bang mag-invest? Okay. So, when the stock prices decline, ano yung mga answer nila? Marami nag-yes, meron din ng no. So it depends on the dividend yield. But with the assumption, no, na the stock price decline, yield might be attractive, but the decline in the stock prices implies weakening demand for that stock. So there may be a further downward pressure. So it will be prudent to wait until the price, until the price action manifests otherwise. So we have this example of graph. So when we look at the price chart of this hypothetical stock, we can clearly see that there is a decline since 2021. Reasons may be underperformance of its business segment and the possible effect of the elevated inflation and excise taxes to its other business segments. So my point here is to be aware of the year, to beware, rather beware of the yield trap. So ask yourself these questions. Number one, do you think the company will be able to sustain this yield? Or will they probably cut it? Could they continue to produce the same or greater level of earnings or profits and consequently dividends? And next, is the company struggling, causing the share price to fall? So you ask these questions before you decide to really invest on the stocks wherein the prices are actually declining. So in your first MetroSec account, you can conveniently access dividend yield data by navigating to code, stats, and then click analytics, fundamentals, and there you get click dividend yield. You can actually easily sort all the trailing 12 months dividend and as well as the dividend yield, whether based on the PSE index ba or you have your watch list or all of the 200 plus companies listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange. So after learning all of that, I'm going to teach you about dividend capture investing or dividend capture strategy. So this is a short-term trade strategy to capture attractive dividend opportunities. So we have here one example, Cebu Pacific or SEB. So last May 20, 2019, SEB declared 2 pesos regular dividend and 5 pesos special dividend. So on the declaration date, the stock price closed at 84 pesos and 70 cents. So the calculated yield was 8.26%. So a day after the declaration date, opening price on May 21 is 86 pesos and 10 cents. And it closed at 88 pesos. So you calculated your yield. It will give you 8.13% and 7.95% respectively. So SEB continued to trend higher until June 7, the day before the ex-date, where it closed at 93 pesos and 30 cents. So if you bought at this price, a day before ex-date, your yield was 7 pesos and 50 cents. On ex-date, the SEB or Cebu Pacific opened lower at 89 pesos. So if you bought on the ex-date or expiry date, your yield was 0 because you will no longer be eligible for the dividends. So this was the price action until the payment date on July 10, where you received 7 pesos per share. So how do you apply the dividend capture strategy? So here we have, on May 21, you buy during the opening at 86.10 pesos. And then on June 10, you can sell it at 89 pesos. So you actually hit already the two ways to earn from stock. The first one is capital gain. So difference between 89 pesos and 86.10. That is 2 pesos and 90 cents or 3.36% capital gain. Plus, you are entitled of the dividend, which is 7 pesos or the yield of 8.13%. So this is how you implement dividend capture strategy. May I know if clear po, type C or type U if unclear? Okay. For those na nag-answer pa ng unclear, we will have another example. So let me just reiterate ha. So you bought Cebu Pacific on May 21 at 86.10. You can actually then buy on the closing price, but lesser na lang yung yield mo and lesser yung gain mo. But when you buy on May 21, 2019, you sold it on June 10, 2019, ex-date at 89 pesos. You still have capital gain, plus you are entitled of the dividend of 7 pesos per share. So we have here one example, another example rather. So Keppel Philippines Properties Inc. So last year, KEP declared 15 pesos and 14 cents na special dividend, cash dividend. For reference, yung last na dividend payout ni KEP was 1999. Tapos, yung price niya at that time is 10 pesos and 50 cents. So, kung nakabili ka on April 15, you could have a yield of 144.19%. So, a day after declaration date, the opening and even the closing price of KEP is at 15.74%, or the yield is 96.20. A day before X date, the closing price is 16.86, but you will still receive a yield of 89.80%. On April 26, 2024, the X date, the opening price of KEP is at 11.84. Tas, ang lalim ng pagbaba, no? So if you bought at this date, you will not receive the dividend yield. So for those who are eligible for the dividend yield, they just need to wait until May 22, 2024 to receive the 15 pesos and 14 cents per share. Now, my question is, have the pop question. How do we apply the dividend capture strategy? Is it A, you buy on April 15 and sell on April 26? So you bought at 10 pesos and 50 cents and then you sell at 11.84. Letter B, you bought at April 16 at 15.74 and then you sold it on April 26 at 11.84. Letter C, you bought on April 25 at 16.86 and then you sold it on April 26 at 11.84. Or letter D, all of the above. What are the dividend capture strategy that you can actually implement on this situation? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, so we have combinations of answer here, A and B. Well, actually, the answer is letter D. Because when you buy on April 15, April 16, and April 25, you still receive dividends per share of, how much was it? 14, 15.14 per share. My second question is, what dividend capture strategy has the highest gain among A, B, and C? Is it A, you buy on April 15 and sell on April 26? Letter B, you buy on April 16 and sell on April 26? Or letter C, you buy on April 25 and sell on April 26? Or letter D, all of the above? Okay. So most of you got the answer. Nag-compute ba kayo ng ano? Dividend yield, capital gain na lang pala. So for example, with letter A, when you bought it in April 15 and then sold it on April 26, your gain is 16%, while your dividend yield is 144.19%. For those who answered letter B, it's actually a loss, around 24.78% loss, because you sell it at 11.84 pesos when you bought it at 15.74 pesos. But then you still have a 96% na yield. So na-offset siya ng dividend na marireceive mo on May 22, which is 15.14 per share. For letter C, you have a dividend yield of 89.80%. Your loss is at 29.78%. So among this dividend capture strategy, the highest gain is letter A. So A lang actually yung may positive na gain. Positive gain, and then all have a positive yield. So with A, you have 144.19% na yield and 16% na capital gain. Next. So we have here, there are also other types of dividends. So for better appreciation, I will be using this Metro Bank and Robinson's Land as examples. So in 2019, Metro Bank paid a cash dividend of 1 peso per share and 13% stock dividend. So for example, if you own 1,000 Metro Bank shares, you would have received 1,000 pesos in cash dividend and additional 130 shares at stock dividend. Whereas Robinson's Land Corporation, it gave 50 cents per share, and then it also gave a property dividend rate of 1 Altus Property Ventures Inc. shares for every 51.93 na Robinson's Land Corporation na shares. So if you were eligible and owned 520 na Robinson's Land Corporation shares, you would have received 260 pesos as cash dividend and additional na 10 APV or Altus Property Ventures Inc. Corporation as a stock dividend. So we have cash dividend, property dividend, and cash, stock, and property dividend. Yung parang 3 types of dividend here. So moving on, let's start with this quote from Warren Buffett. As a value investor, he thinks it is far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. So moving on to the next question, we have here, how much is my stock worth? So there are actually 2 answers in this question, depending who are you asking. So first one we have, Alliance Global. Market price today, or AGI, is 7 pesos and 12 cents. Well, the book value per share, the formula on how you get that is book value over outstanding shares, or assets minus liabilities over outstanding shares. You can actually check this in your First Metrosec na account at 32 pesos and 87 cents. So there are two ways for you to check the stock value, whether it's on the market price, this is the perceived value of the investors, or the book value per share, which is the intrinsic price. So this is based on the financials. And there is actually a difference between the market price per share and the book value per share. So again, the market price for AGI is 7.12, while the books are at 32.87 pesos per share. So with this discrepancy, how do we know if the stock is relatively cheap? Okay, here. So to answer that, I'm going to introduce the price to book ratio. So this is just the market price divided by the book value per share, which is essentially tells us uh, how the market price is trading relative to the book value price per share. So using again AGI as an example, dividing the market price of 7.12 pesos per share by its book value per share of 32.87, we have a price to book ratio of 0.2166. So here, if the ratio is below 1, we know that the stock is trading below its book value per share. So there might be an opportunity. Hence, there might be an opportunity here since the market is discounting what the books are actually telling. So let's have Ayala REIT or a REIT. Market price at 40 pesos, book value per share at 35.12. What? Oh, nag-reflect na pala ang price to book ratio. So what is the price to book ratio? Point. Okay, correct. Or 1.13895. Next. So the ratio now is around 1. So we know that the stock is trading around its book value per share. So last example will be the PLDT or TEL. We divide 1,250 with a book value per share of 516.92. So what is the price to book ratio? So it's 1,250 divided by 516.90. Yes, so the answer is 2.41 or 2.42. Apologies, this is not the correct one, but I agree for those who answered on the chat box, it's 2.42. Okay, so we get 2.42 for price to book ratio. The price to book ratio that is now above 1, we know that the stock is trading above its book value per share. So comparing the calculated price to book ratios of the examples, AGI seems relatively cheaper compared to its book to value BVPS, whereas A-REIT at par lang with its book to value per share, whereas PLDT is trading higher than its book value per share. So we have here a pop question. If the price to book ratio is below 1, the stock is trading blank its book value per share? Is it lower or higher? So if the price to book value ratio is below 1, the stock is trading below, higher or lower its book value. Okay, correct. Next, it's lower. If the price to book ratio is above 1, is the stock trading higher or lower its book value per share? Okay, that is correct. So please do note that this is just one of the many fundamental na metrics and methods to determine the cheapness of the stocks. So some stocks almost never trade below 1, since some investors are willing to buy it at a premium. And some stocks are frequently trade below 1 as the market still undervalues them, and they have to gain price, premium, and also demand. So you can actually check the book value per share in price to book ratio on our website. You can conveniently access price to book data by navigating to quotes, stats, and then analytics. And here we have fundamentals, then price to book ratio. So you can actually easily sort book value per share and price to book ratio. Mm, I'll go back with price to book ratio. So again, the formula for price to book ratio is market price over the book value per share. So, so if your price to book ratio is lower than 1, it means that it's relatively cheaper compared to its book value per share. So parang um, the intrinsic value is higher compared to the perception of the market price. Whereas to yung above 1 naman, or for example, we have here PLDT, above 2 yung price to book ratio niya, it means that the investors actually are willing to buy the stock at premium compared to its intrinsic value or its book value per share. Okay. For the questions po, let me answer that at the end of the presentation. We'll have our second speaker. So if you'd like to screen for growth stocks with cheap valuation or stocks that generate above average dividend yield, our stock screen research can actually help. So we are grateful and honored that a member of our equity research division joined us this evening to discuss how to make the most of this report. So Ms. Angelique Bakay recently joined the equity research division. Ange is an alumna of the University of Santo Tomas, wherein she finished her bachelor's degree in business administration, major in financial management in 2018. So she entered the corporate finance industry in 2021 as a research analyst at a fintech firm where she was exposed to different sectors in the market. So Ange joined First Metro Securities in 2024 to pursue a career in equity research and expand her knowledge in the local capital market. And she is currently under the institutional department where she covers the consumer sector. And without further ado, let's all welcome our Equity Research Associate, Ms. Ange Bakay. Welcome, Ange.
Hi everyone. Yes, thank you for that introduction, Miss Monet. Again, good evening to all of our audience listening. Again, I am Ange, that's ANJ with the Z. I am an equity research associate from First Metro, and I'll quickly share with you our stock screen report. Before I get to that, please allow me to turn off my camera first to save on bandwidth. All right. Next slide, please, Miss Manette. So the stock screen is actually one of the many reports that we produce, which you can access on the First Metro platform. It is a tailor fit for investors who base their investment decisions on select financial metrics, which I will be discussing later on. As the name suggests, it is a screener of stocks that automatically filters companies and selects the outperforming ones based on our metric or criteria. So as you can see on the screen, on the right portion, that's what the stock screen report looks like. And if you want to access it, you can go to the First MetroSec platform. Just head on to Hi everyone, I think I was disconnected. Am I clear now? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Ange.
Hi, good evening. Can you please let me know if I'm now audible?
Yes.
All right. Sorry for that internet connection issue. Anyway, as I was saying, if you want to get access of our stock screen report, you can simply go to our platform, go to the research tab. You can see there First MetroSec latest reports, or even go to the all reports so you can see all the previous stock screen reports that we've made. Next slide, please. The stock screen is designed to show off three model portfolios to suit different investment styles. These are riding the flows, unloved, and yield seeker. So, how do we filter companies that we include in our report? For our methodology, we maintain a stock screen universe which are selected from all securities that are included in the following. So that's your MSCI Investable Market Index, PSE Index, PSE Midcap Index, and PSE Dividend Yield Index. We run the filters on a monthly basis, wherein our cutoff date is set on the last trading day of the month. We source our data from Refinitiv, so all of our figures for this report come from them, except for the target price of the covered stocks, which comes from us, the research team. So we want to emphasize that the data comes from our third-party provider, Refinitiv, which are then filtered out by our screener. Next slide, please. As mentioned, there are three different investment styles that we consider for stock screen. I believe the first two was already discussed by my colleague in the previous Best Series episode 1. Next slide, please, so we can show the table. Just to recap on our first screener that was discussed, that's riding the flows. These are highly traded growth stocks, as our stock screen filters companies with high EPS growth, liquidity, and foreign momentum. For the unloved screener, we take a look at companies with high EPS growth, meaning these are your fast-growing stocks but with low PE, meaning the market is undervaluing them. Now, for this session, I will be focusing more on the yield seeker screener. Next slide, please. This is our dividend play screener. As the name implies, this investing strategy is for those who want to invest in quality stocks with high dividend yield. For this screener, we take a look at two financial metrics. You have the dividend yield and the dividend CAGR. First, for the dividend yield, it measures the dividend yield measures the dividends of the company relative to the current market or stock price. And then for the dividend CAGR, it is a way to measure the average annual growth of an investment, where in this case, a high yield stock, over a period of time, assuming profits are reinvested. It's good to note that consistent dividend payments from a company indicates a certain level of financial stability. Additionally, if companies are able to frequently increase their dividend payments, then this may be a sign of financial stability and growth. Another factor, although not a financial metric, is the 2-year Philippine bond rate. which we could say is a less risky financial instrument. In our case, the bond rate was around 5.6% when we ran our filter for the January 2025 report. So most of the stocks that we have here have yields higher than 5.6%. So applying the data or the idea of our stock screen, this will filter out companies with high dividend yield and dividend CAGR. It is a dividend play for investors who want a stable stream of dividends. So just quickly sharing how we do the filter for the stock screen. You can see it in the next slide. These are the steps that we do to filter them out for the yield seeker portfolio. So first, among our stock screen or stocks universe, we look at the dividend yields that have above the 5.6% of the 2-year Philippine bond yield. And then after that, we rank them based on the consensus forecast dividend growth. And then lastly, we filter the stocks and rank them according to the highest ADVA or your average daily value turnover, which would indicate how actively traded the stock is. Now, on the next slide, you can see the January 2025 stock screen report that we have just released this week. You can already see this on the First Metro platform. Shown on your screens are some of the stocks that appeared in our yield seeker index. So aside from the stock price appreciation, these stocks can generate above average dividend yields. Next slide, please. Among the names that we have here, we can see that AREIT tops the list, followed by URC, MBT, TEL, and MWC. So maybe I'll just discuss some of them, starting with AREIT. REITs or the real estate investment trusts are actually mandated by law to pay dividends. That's at least 90% of their distributable income must be paid out to their shareholders. Go back to the previous slide, please. Based on our screener, AREIT has a forecasted yield of 6.1% for fiscal year 2025F. So that's, if you can see the column DPS, sorry, the last column to the right, yield for 25F and 26F. So for AREIT, based on our screener, we see a 6.1% yield and 6.4% dividend yield for the years 2025 and 2026 respectively. We believe that AREIT would benefit from the foreseen softening of economic data, which could lead to potential rate cuts. If that happens, investors will be shifting to yield-sensitive equities over bonds. We also like AREIT because it is the largest REIT in terms of market cap in the Philippines. In our view, bigger is better in the REITs universe. Also, REIT or AREIT will continue to grow as its sponsor Ayala Land Inc. or ALI continues to infuse assets to AREIT. And then lastly, just by simple comparison of dividend payouts among the other REITs, AREIT actually has the highest payouts among the other names. Second one here, you have URC. In the previous periods, URC has been paying out regular cash dividends twice a year. In 2024, that was on March and then August. Last August 2024, the dividend per share was at 1.90 pesos with 4.1 billion pesos total dividends paid out. URC aims to sustain an annual cash dividend payout ratio of 50% of the group's consolidated net income from the previous fiscal year. But then again, this is subject to applicable laws, regulations, and any prevailing conditions that may limit dividend distribution. Also, as I mentioned a while ago, a good indicator of a company's strength in terms of financials is when they are able to consistently pay out dividends. And so far, URC has done that. Our screener forecasts 6.8% and 7.6% dividend yields for the years 2025 and 2026 respectively. The third one, you have here Metrobank, wherein among the banks in the PSEI, Metrobank has the highest trailing 12-month dividend yield at 7.01%. our screener forecasts 6.7% and 7.1% dividend yields for FY25 and FY26F respectively. One of MBT's main medium-term ROE drivers is capital optimization, which the aim here is to support growth and increase shareholder returns. Moreover, the BSP has signaled slower rate cuts and further cuts in banks' reserve requirements. Generally, this is a good mix to support banks' profitability. Next slide, please. So just showing here that our screeners for Riding the Flows, Unloved, and Yield Seeker actually outperforms the PSEI. If you follow the red and the yellow trend line over there, that's your total portfolio returns, while the pink line is the PSEI. So among the three different portfolios, beginning from September 2023 to January 2025, you can see that for the yield seeker, there's a higher return on this type of portfolio. So maybe if you've been closely following this stock back in 2023, this is already the trajectory of your portfolio. Yeah, so that's it for my part of the presentation. I hope I was able to share value, and I hope this is something that could help your investment and trading strategy. Again, that report was called Stock Screen, and you can easily access this on our FMS platform through the research tab. We also have plenty of research reports that you can utilize in the platform. Feel free to look at them and browse through in our website. So again, my name is Ange with the Z. Thank you everyone for joining this session, and good evening to all.
Thank you, Ange, for sharing the first Metrosec stock screen report. So to reiterate what we have discussed this evening, we have talked about first the dates and dividend yield. So how do we earn dividend income from stocks? So you have heard the declaration date, the X date, record date, and also the payment date. And also we have discussed the dividend capture strategy. Next is how much is the stock value. So it can be either market price and checking the book value per share. And how do we know if the stock is cheap? We just need to compute the price to book ratio. And lastly, Ange share about the stock screen research report. So if you have questions or clarification regarding the presentation, feel free to ask us in the Q&A in the Zoom panel. We will answer them later during the live Q&A portion after this short presentation. So first, for you to be able to start investing, whether stocks, REITs, ETF, mutual fund, and UITF and bonds, you must just have this one powerful investment account with First Metro Securities. And aside from being a powerful investment, having a powerful investment account, you must make sure that you partner with the best. We have been awarded as the best one-stop shop solution for leading funds by the International Business Magazine, aside from being the best online broker and best online trading platform for 7 years in a row now. So for those who still don't have a First Metrosec account, here's how you conveniently and easily open a First Metrosec account with us. Via Play Store, or you just download First Metrosec Go app for individual account. And if you want to open a joint account or even an interest for account, you open via website. Just visit www.firstmetrosec.com.ph and don't forget to indicate the seminar code dividend investing when asked where did you know about us. So the requirements include government issued ID, proof of residence, proof of bank account, and 1,000 pesos initial deposit. And you must also have a tax identification number. And feel free to connect with us in social media channels. Just search at First Metrosec. So you may scan the QR code or screenshot of this slide. So our main website is at www.firstmetrosec.com.ph. And for account requests, updates, access, concerns, email us at customerservice@firstmetrosec.com.ph. And I'm also inviting everyone to fall in love with financial freedom this February. You can have smarter money moves and grow your investment with our expert-led webinars. So check out our February 2025 event calendar for details. And also a link will be provided by our chat moderator so that you can register for our next webinar that is on February 6th on Smart Learning Series. So we have couple goals, financial harmony, and the third, basic education and stock trading, best part 3, which is already about technical analysis. And on February 13, love your future smart money management with Pag-ibig. So they will discuss about MP2 and other Pag-ibig products. That is on February 13. And we also have our guided investor fearless trader learning series, technical analysis that is on February 17, 19, and 21. And we also have February 20, that is Fund Smart Learning Series, Homegrown Prosperity Investing in the Philippine Asset Made Easy. And lastly, Guided Investor, Fearless Trader, GIF Learning Series, which is Build Your Own Trading System in February 24, 26, and 28. So again, join us on February 6 and February 11. So you can also invite us for free and exclusive tailor-made gamified learning programs and or briefings for your company, school, organization, or clients. Just send us an email at marketeducation@firstmetrosec.com.ph. And okay, so let me just call again Ange as we answer questions and clarifications in the Q&A of the Zoom app. So first question here in the Q&A panel. Where can we see the dividend history of stock when using the mobile app version of the First MetroSec? Oh, hold, let me just check. Because dividend history, you can check it in our website. We don't, let me confirm. Logging into our website to verify if the dividend history is shown as well. Because I know it will only reflect details about dividend, but not the dividend history. Yes, you can only check our dividend history via our First MetroSec website. So going back with the price to book ratio. So if the price to book ratio is actually below 1, it means that the current price is cheaper compared to the book value per share. So when the price to book ratio is above 1, it means that you are already paying the stock price at a premium. So I hope it's clear. So if it's below 1, it's cheaper. And if it's above 1, you're paying it at a premium. But of course, you need to compare it with the history and as well as among the peers. We have another question regarding the platform, but not related to dividend, about government and corporate bonds. Can you really buy and sell government and corporate bonds in the platform? For now, we don't do buying and selling or trading through our platform. You can only buy bonds through once you receive email notice. So you reserve the bond through confirmation through email. And should you decide to sell it, just contact customer service at firstmetrosec.com.ph. Let me just go back with those related with dividend investing, and First Metrosec Research Report.
Miss Maneth, I think one
Yes.
question here
Oh,
was skipped regarding the REITs. Maybe I'll just read it and
sure.
address it. Yeah,
Thank you,
so
Ange.
there's a question here. Would you still advise REITs that has projects that are mainly condominiums in light of the impending condominium market bubble? So if you're more of a dividend player, yes, it is still a good idea to buy REITs because of the government mandate. So REITs are mandated by law that they need to pay out quarterly dividends. And so far, the REITs in the PSEI have been doing that. For example, a REIT among the top ranking in our yield seeker portfolio, a REIT has actually able to pay out dividends last year for the 4 quarters. Also, for the portfolios under the REITs, these are mostly offices, not much of condominiums. That's why we also have this uh, view or thinking that for REITs, you want the bigger, the better. Because the bigger the portfolio is and the more diverse it is, it allows for more income streams for that REIT. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you for that, Ange. So we have here another question. Um, what the- is dividend investing really comparable to investing in fixed income? Can it at least beat inflation, which is better dividend investing or capital appreciation? So in comparison with fixed income, you need to hold your investing in bonds for a certain time, like 5 years or 3 years. Whereas to dividend investing in stocks, you have actually the option to sell it when you want to sell it. And though you can sell your bond investment in the secondary market, but the buyers and sellers are actually limited compared to stock market, since those into bond investing, there are institutional investors, whereas with the stock investing, we do also have retail investors. So there are more buyers and sellers willing to buy the stocks compared to those in bond investing. And can it beat inflation? You need to compare whether the return on investment is higher uh, compared to the inflation. So for example, you actually set na a dividend yield of, let's say, 6% or 7%. So you may sort or check on our platform wherein what are those stocks under PSEI or under all publicly listed companies which gives 6% or more or higher than the average inflation rate of the Philippines, so that you can make sure that your return of investment is higher compared to the inflation rate. So in comparison with the bonds, you only receive fixed interest income. Whereas with the dividend investing, there is a possibility that your dividend will actually increase, and at the same time, there is also price appreciation. So I hope the answer is clear, or I was able to enlighten that question. So here we have a question: is technical knowledge needed to be able to execute the dividend capture strategy, support and resistance? If in terms of dividend capture strategy, you must only be familiar with the dates. So when to receive the dividend, the X date, so that you are sure that you can receive the dividend. Support and resistance will be applicable on the technical analysis. So I hope that was clear, or I have enlightened that question. year, do I need to update my personal information at First Metrosec yearly, even though my personal information is same yearly? BSP mandated, we are required to update our record every 2 years. So if there are actually no changes, you may just indicate in the form certain information like just indicate the same. And then still we need to receive your updating form na signed. As to the REITs, Ange, would you like to take this question? Is it advisable to buy REITs now because it's slowly getting popular?
Yes, sure po. So, for the REITs, actually, it's more of what type of investor you are. If you're in it for the dividends, yes, you could buy REITs because again, they are mandated by law to pay out dividends for their shareholders. But we for this year we actually crafted a 2025 strategy and outlook wherein our topics are mostly sectors in the retailer industries, banks, your food service, your index names, because we believe these are the stocks that would get to benefit from the current macroeconomic condition this year. But yeah, in terms of REITs, yes, you can still invest in them. And for our yield seeker filter, we've seen a REIT to be one of the top ranking for the month of January.
Thank you for that, Ange. Would you be able to have this also the question about sectors, which is more favorable for those investing on dividends? Are they into telco, mining, REITs, consumer bank, or conglomerate?
Uh, sure po. Let me just look at the Q&A box.
Yes.
Uh,
Which sector
maybe
would you
for
say? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think there's a. Let me first address the question above. Would you say investing in RFM
Ah,
for dividends is a good play? Actually, we don't cover RFM, so we have limited view on this. But maybe what I can say is that um, historically, I think the payout that they give is around 0.1 centavos, 0.05. So I would say it's a bit low compared to the others that you can see. And as of, I think it was September 2020, that was a one time that they were able to give a high dividend. But then again, it's also still based on your preference if you like the stock and it meets the criteria that you set for yourself. I guess what you can do as well is you can go to PSE Edge and look for company disclosures or of RFM. You can look for their quarterly report or their annual report and look into their dividend policy or what the company's strategy is in terms of paying out to their shareholders, because sometimes it's different across companies, but you'll get more color on how the company deals with that and pays out to their shareholders from their reports. Because for some, you can see some companies giving out yearly dividends, regular dividends, and then the special dividends, you're not sure if they're going to give out for this year, the next year, none, or things like that. But you can have more appreciation on that if you look at their disclosures. And then there's another question. I think it was about the sectors. Let me just back read that. Uh, I think it was this one. Which sectors would you say give high and increasing dividends? Telco, mining, REITs, consumer, bank, or conglomerate? Actually, still depends on the stock. It's hard to pinpoint a specific sector that would give a higher or increasing dividends. It would still boil down to the company's performance overall.
We also receive another question related to REITs, Ange. Other than a REIT, what other REIT that are recommended? Or,
Other than A-REIT, what other REITs that are recommended? Well, this is not from the filter that we made for January 2025. A-REIT was among our top picks, but I think another one would be MegaWorld because that's MREIT, MegaWorld's REIT, because the way MegaWorld structures their real estate is it's a very diverse. You have both commercial and residential spaces, and you as a shareholder can get to benefit from that, from the different revenue streams. But comparing the two, MREIT or A-REIT, we like A-REIT more.
I remember whenever you say the bigger, the better.
Yes po, that's correct.
Okay. So here from anonymous attendees, what else to consider aside from the price to book ratio if the stock is cheap? So if you were able to attend the stock best series part 1, it actually talked about uh, price earning ratio. So that is another consideration um, whether a stock is cheap or not. So you can look into PE ratio and as well as price to book ratio. Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
about C-REIT, it's also a
Yes.
good stock. It's a good REIT as well because of their expansion plans. C-REIT actually plans to put up a lot of solar power plants here in the country. And if you've been following the news, so China has been quote unquote dumping cheap solar panels here in the Philippines. So they're selling the photovoltaic panels for a cheaper price, and actually C-REIT would get to benefit from that because lower costs for them to expand their plants. So yeah, we like C-REIT. Actually, my some of my colleagues even went to their to check on their facilities, and so far we've been seeing good feedback, and we're also hopeful for their expansion.
I'll just feedback on one there. So we're done with the Q&A, the Zoom panel. Series. How about last, Ange, about dividend investing in the mining industry? Would it be attractive as well? Oh, sorry. I think Ange got disconnected. However, we'll just try if she will reconnect in a bit to cater this last question. Um, but if ever she could no longer reconnect, uh, could you provide us your email address regarding the mining industry so that we can give feedback to you on that? Okay, so that sums up our Q&A session. Thank you so much for all your questions. And of course, thank you very much to the guest speaker for gamely answering the questions. And to our attendees, we also value your feedback. You can share your thoughts and experiences with us by scanning the QR code and answer our feedback form. Link will also be provided by our chat moderator. So you may check as well. Just click the link. And your input is essential in us helping us improve our services and better meet your needs. So we appreciate your contribution and look forward to implementing positive changes based on your valuable feedbacks. Again, thank you, Ange, for joining us this evening. So there you have it, guys. Once again, on behalf of First Metro Securities Brokerage Corporation, I would also like to express my gratitude to Ange for joining us this evening. So it's truly an evening well spent. Thank you also to everyone who attended tonight. We sincerely hope you learned a lot and that these insights and lessons will make your investment journey not just more profitable, but also more enjoyable. So please don't forget to provide feedback for today's webinar. We hope to see you again in our future learning events because over here at First Metro Securities, we put your future first. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.